Welcome back to the Ghosty Girls podcast. I'm Christina.
Hi, I'm Alicia. I have something important to say. I have a clicky pen.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Put it down. Alicia fidgets.
I do.
All the time.
What? No.
Yeah. And you guys have no idea how much I have to edit out of these episodes of her fidgeting, like tapping on stuff or clicking on something or just moving around. Like she just cannot just sit. She can't.
No, I can't.
See, and now she's like aggressively scribbling.
Listen, I am hand writing my next episode out of the bottom of my heart.
What are we in the 1800s? Why are you handwriting it? But you literally have a brand new MacBook in front of you. Why are you handwriting your episode? Like we're living in colonial times.
1900s, to be exact.
But again, why are you handwriting an episode when you have an entire fucking MacBook at your disposal in front of you?
I'm going to tell you why. You ready? Because last week I forgot my laptop and I was hoping to have it done last week. So I just rewrote from memory what I had already typed and then added to it last week when I was here. And I didn't finish it at home because I am a piece of shit. But I'm already invested in writing it and I didn't feel like retyping it so I'm pot committed at this point.
Okay. All right.
So good luck in this episode that I'm going to do, because not today, but whenever I do this one, because I don't know that I'm going to be able to read it all, but I'm going to try.
Oh my God.
Good luck. The end.
And we're clicking again. That's great.
I did that on purpose. You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, before we start this episode, I want to say that I did make a little mistake in the first part of this, in last week's episode. You had asked, why is there not a movie about Dorothea Puente? And I was like, I don't know, but there should be. Our friend, Chris For Real, brought it to my attention that there actually is a movie about Dorothea Puente. And I was like, first off, how did I miss, because he did a review about it. I was like, first off, how did I miss his review? Because I see like all his stuff.
Same.
Secondly, how have I not heard of this movie? Like, I feel like I'm pretty up and up with serial killer stuff. When I looked into it, I saw that it was released in 2025. So that's last year. Yeah. So it's like fairly new.
Yeah.
Also, apparently it's like only available on Tubi. Okay.
Oh.
We all know what kind of caliber movies are on Tubi. All right. So I should have known what I was getting into because, spoiler alert, I did watch it. I did not watch Chris For Real's review on it because I wanted to go into it blindly. But I just wanted to like clear up the fact that there is a movie about Dorothea Puente. I have lots of thoughts on it. I'll share those in the third episode. But before I ramble too much, today we're starting part 2 of Dorothea Puente. Last week we left off with Dorothea being released from the county jail on her own recognizance. Never a good idea, but what do I know? I am just some bitch.
Some bitch. Starting with that already?
Yep. Starting out strong.
I like it.
So now we're in 1982. And in addition to ripping off random elderly and sick people, Dorothea had big plans for her closest friend. Ruth Monroe was a 61-year-old woman. Important to note that she was a devout Catholic. That comes into play later. And she had just married her second husband, Harold. Unfortunately, soon after Ruth got married, her husband, Harold, became very ill and was ultimately diagnosed with terminal cancer. And Harold and Ruth were determined to live it up and enjoy the short time that Harold had left. They ended up selling their home, going on trips, gambling, going out drinking. And it's during one of these bar trips that Harold met a woman by the name of Dorothea Montalvo. Perhaps you've heard of her. I don't know. And Dorothea and Ruth bore a lot of similarities. And I'm saying this like on a surface level because obviously to the outside world, Dorothea seemed like a sweet, fun, kind, older woman, which is exactly what Ruth Monroe actually was. Like Ruth Monroe was she was a very sweet person.
I see where this is going and I hate it.
Yep. So Harold figured that Dorothea and his wife would really hit it off. So he ended up bringing Ruth to the Flame Club where Dorothea worked as a cook. That's how her and Harold met. And Dorothea and Ruth became instant friends. And remember, Dorothea was fake as fuck. So she could convince anyone that she was a decent person. And Ruth Monroe, she actually was a decent person. So she was vulnerable to Dorothea's inauthentic charms. I mean, you see that a lot. You know, people prey on good, kind people.
I have a question, though.
Sure.
Is that why you're such a bitch?
Yeah, that's why I'm such a bitch.
Me too.
Yep.
You're the most kind-hearted bitch I know. Fuck out of here.
I'm like Sammy Sweetheart. I'm the sweetest bitch you'll ever meet. Which, side note, I don't know if I've ever shared this story. I'm going on a side note here. I'm going on a sidebar in trial. Okay, we're doing a sidebar.
Sidebar.
I actually met Sammy Sweetheart because me and my friends went to Atlantic City, and as we were drinking at the bar, we look over and there's the entire cast of Jersey Shore.
It's crazy.
Which is so fucking random. And like as we left the bar, we were walking to the elevator and we like literally ran right into Sammy Sweetheart. And I was like, "Oh my God, Sammy?" And she kind of looked at me like she was like trying to figure out who I was. And I was like, "Oh, no. Like we don't know each other." Anyway, long story long, she was very, very nice.
Oh, I love to hear that.
And it's funny because I told my sister about it and she was like, "Well, she is the sweetest bitch you'll ever meet."
Yeah.
That's what East Coast girls are.
With some titties.
And if you can't handle us,
fuck off.
That sounds like a you problem.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the story. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
I just wanted to tell that story because it's a fun story. I like when public figures and celebrities and whatever are actually nice people. So I make sure to like spread that information. You know what I mean?
Who was the guy you sent me a picture of? He gave you a...
Eric Estrada.
Yes. You said he was the sweetest person you ever met.
He like sat and talked to us like we were actual human beings. And we were having a conversation with him. And I felt like I had known him for years. Aww. And like I've never really been a fan, like a quote unquote fan of Eric Estrada. Oh, fuck yeah. He's like one of my favorite people. Like obviously I know about the movie, or I know about the show Chips. I know about things that he's done. He was in Adult Swim. Like he did, what was it? C-Lab? I can't remember. But oh my God, like he's one of those people that just had amazing energy. Yeah. Like you know when you come into the orbit of some people and they just radiate this just energy and it makes you feel like good.
It's the vibrations, man.
Yeah.
They bring you in.
Eric Estrada has it. Very sweet man. If he ever does a convention by you, please go meet him. You'll love him. He's so nice.
Oh.
Anywho, you know what? I think we have conventions on the mind because we're going to a convention this weekend, and we'll talk about that more later.
When this comes out, we'll have already been to the convention.
True. That's true. Yeah. But back to Dorothea. The two became friends. They both had a love of cooking. And by all accounts, Dorothea was a great cook. I mean, when she wasn't poisoning people with it anyway.
Yeah, you know.
People did say that she could make some pretty slap-ass food, though. So, I mean, it's a good quality of hers.
Are we ever going to do this, like, recipe book trial thing? We need to do this.
Yeah, we should. Dorothea would fit in really well with that, but I'm going to talk about that.
I'm sorry. I keep digressing you from your story. Oh my God, the worst. I'm going to shut my mouth.
Everybody's probably like, are we going to talk about Dorothea Puente today or are we just going to talk about fucking bullshit? And the answer is both.
Bum, bum.
So Dorothea got this bright idea that her and Ruth should go into business together and open up a catering company, which seems great, right?
Yeah.
But as I'm sure you can all guess by this point, Dorothea did not have good intentions behind this catering business. Her goal was not to make money with Ruth. It was to take money from Ruth because Dorothea loved to steal from people. She was into the robbing biz. So Ruth, thinking that this would be a great way to make money, and she was also retired. So she was like, oh, this will be great. I actually have time to do something that I want to do. She's passionate about cooking. Thought it was a great idea. She withdrew pretty much all of her savings and opened up a joint business account with Dorothea. Yeah.
I hate that for her.
So while they were trying to get this catering business off the ground, Harold just became more and more ill and was continuously in the hospital due to his battle with cancer. So, I know. So Dorothea, being the kind soul that she is, offered Ruth a place to stay at her home at 1426 F Street. Dorothea was like, listen, you shouldn't be alone. I will help you. I'll cook for you. We can keep each other company and live like the Golden Girls. Verbatim, probably.
Yeah, 100%.
And Ruth was like, fuck yeah, that sounds amazing. And it really does. Like, what else more could you want out of life than growing old and living with your bestie? Like, that sounds amazing, right?
Sounds awesome.
I would love it. And things went really well for a bit. Ruth's family, she had 3 sons and a daughter. They all said that their mother seemed really happy living with Dorothea. She was working hard at the catering business. She seemed to be doing really great. This, however, did not last long. By April of 1982, Ruth's family and friends began to notice a huge difference in Ruth. She seemed disoriented, confused, anxious, and they all later said that Ruth just looked like something was not right, like she was maybe sick or something. Something just wasn't right. Ruth even confided in one of her friends just a couple of weeks before her death that she felt like she was, quote, going to die, which is...
Are you serious?
Yeah, pretty alarming.
That's...
Like, your friend comes to you and is like, listen, I'm not feeling right. I feel like I'm going to die. That's scary.
That's super scary.
Yeah. She said that she couldn't remember anything anymore. She was having a difficult time taking care of herself. She was confused all the time. She was just really in a bad way. Ruth's family continued to visit her frequently while she lived with Dorothea, and they began to notice something that was very out of character for their mother. When they visited Ruth, she would always be drinking these green drinks, and when asked what she was drinking, she would tell them that Dorothea was making her creme de menthe. And these drinks were to, quote, calm her nerves. And I had to look that up. Yeah, because it's spelled creme de menthe.
Yeah.
So you would think it's creme de menthe.
Menthe.
Creme de menthe.
Creme de menthe. I'm still going to call it creme de menthe.
I like creme de menthe better, but...
mint cream.
Creme de menthe. And what this is a mint liqueur. Did I say that right?
Liqueur.
Liqueur. Like an after dinner dessert drink.
Yep.
It sounds horrible.
Like an aperitif.
Yeah. And but it's like this like really hideous green color.
Yeah. It's gross.
Yeah.
It tastes gross, honestly, in my opinion. But I don't like mint things unless it's gum.
I like Baileys. Like that, like there's like a mint Baileys.
But that's chocolate. That's like a chocolate mint, right?
Yes. On the night of April 27th, 1982, Ruth's son Bill came over for a visit, and he immediately noted that the vibes were off in that house. He said that Dorothea met him at the door and told him that his mother had been seen by a doctor due to her anxiety and that she was given a shot to calm her down and was now relaxing in bed and she shouldn't be disturbed. Isn't that weird?
A shot to calm her.
To
like
calm
a shot
her
of
down.
alcohol?
No, like a shot, like an injection.
No.
Yeah. At the house.
Nope.
So Bill, understandably, felt a little weird about the situation, and he decided to go upstairs anyway to see his mother against Dorothea's advice that she should be left alone to rest. He was like, I'm not leaving without seeing my mom.
Fair.
Step aside, bitch. Bye. Verbatim, probably.
Yeah.
So he goes upstairs and he finds his mother in bed and she is laying down with her eyes open, but she's completely comatose. And if you remember from last week, this is exactly what happened to one of Dorothea's other victims, Malcolm Mackenzie. He stated that Dorothea drugged him and that he was basically just paralyzed and locked into his own body, completely aware of his surroundings and what was going on, but he was unable to physically move. So Bill goes over to his mother to check on her. And he tells her not to worry. He says, you're going to be okay. Dorothy is taking care of you. Just relax, get some rest. Like he knew that she was really stressed out because of her husband's cancer. I mean, Bill, her son, legitimately thought that she was just going through a rough time.
Yeah.
this is really heartbreaking, but he notes that before he left, he saw a single tear come out of his mother's eye.
Oh, no.
That detail just fucks me up. Yeah. So Bill goes to leave, and Dorothea comforts him. She's like, listen, your mom's in good hands. Like, she's got this. I'm taking care of her. Everything is fine. And Bill trusts that because, like, I just want to clear something up here in case anyone is like, why the fuck would you leave your mother there in bed knowing that something was wrong?
Right.
But what you have to remember is that, number one, everyone was under the impression that Dorothea was a nurse. Okay. They all thought that she was this kind, caregiving, nurturer type. They thought that she was a licensed nurse. She had fake diplomas on her wall.
And a stethoscope. Don't forget the stethoscope.
Yeah. And a blood pressure cuff. That makes you legit.
Yes.
Like, they had no reason to believe that anything crazy was going on. And number two, Dorothea had told Bill that his mother had received a tranquilizing injection from a medical doctor because she was having some type of a panic attack or like an episode or something. So he thought that the reason that his mother was in bed, like in a sedated state, was because she was sedated.
Because she was given a shot by the doctor.
Exactly. Yeah, because if she would have received a shot from the doctor for a panic attack, she would appear sedated. So there was nothing that would lead anyone to believe that Dorothea was doing anything wrong to Ruth. They also, again, didn't know her criminal background. They just trusted this lady.
All willy-nilly.
Yeah. Yep.
I hate that.
This is why you can't be trusting people. Not trying to victim shame or anything like that. That's just like a PSA that I like.
Don't
be
trust
fucking
anybody.
Careful. You can't trust anyone. On the morning of April 28th, 1982, Dorothea calls Ruth's daughter, Rosemary, and she tells her that she needs to get over there because something is very wrong with her mother. Rosemary rushes to Dorothea's boarding house, and there's ambulances, there's police officers, there's just people everywhere. She goes inside, and she finds out that her mother had died. Dorothea told the family and police that she had gone up to check on Ruth, but she was unresponsive. And then that's when she called 911. Dorothea also told police that in addition to dealing with depression and anxiety, Ruth was also suffering from a heart condition. While the coroner was examining the body in Dorothea's house, Dorothea made a point to make subtle suggestions as to Ruth possibly having killed herself. So she's putting that bug in their head, like saying, like, well, yeah, I mean, her husband's terminally ill. She was very depressed. And she also has been drinking a lot of alcohol, the creme de menthe.
Yes, specifically mint-flavored liqueur.
But there's just one little problem with this theory. And that is, as I stated earlier, Ruth was a devout Catholic, and it was very well known that she was completely against suicide. Her family and friends were all adamant that Ruth did not and would not commit suicide. She was a very devout Catholic. So, I mean, you got to take that into consideration as well. So, since Ruth's cause of death was undetermined, a mandatory autopsy was carried out by the state of California. And during the autopsy, it was found that Ruth had not eaten for days, and her stomach was full of a frothy, green, minty-smelling liquid, which turned out to be creme de menthe.
Gross.
So Dorothea was essentially only feeding her alcohol and drugs. Toxicology results confirmed that Ruth Monroe had died from an overdose of Tylenol and codeine. All of Ruth's family and friends were suspicious at this point. And I mean, how could you not be? So they started digging around, and they found that Ruth had not been seen by a doctor and that no doctor had given her any quote-unquote shots for her anxiety problems. So now Dorothea is caught in a lie. So with this information, the family contacts the DA's office, and they're put in touch with homicide. But they're ultimately told by Detective Dave Schwartz that unless anyone had physically seen Dorothea inject Ruth with something, there really wasn't anything they could do. Making matters even worse for Ruth's children was the fact that their mother's bank account and savings were completely drained, and all they were able to recover from the home was their mother's empty purse. Dorothea had taken everything.
What a bitch.
And in that documentary that I talked about last week, it's called Worst Roommate Ever. Episode 1 is Dorothea Puente. I encourage everyone to watch that because it does have an interview with her son. Bill did say that his mom, like, she had money, she had jewelry, she had a lot of belongings.
Yeah.
But when they came to retrieve her belongings, I don't know what's going on up there. It's probably the ghost. Sorry, there's footsteps going on in my house and no one else is here.
It's been going on for a while.
I'm telling you. Everybody that comes over my house hears footsteps. Whatever.
That's fine.
But yeah, they came to retrieve their mother's things and all they were given was an empty purse. So Dorothea had taken everything. She had taken Ruth's money, her jewelry, and ultimately her life. And with the police telling the family that there just wasn't enough evidence to initiate a case, there was nothing else that could be done. So now Dorothea had literally gotten away with murder.
That tear down her face breaks my heart.
I know. Yeah, I had a hard time with that one. After Ruth's death, Dorothea called up another one of her friends, Dorothy Osborne, and gave her this sob story about how she needed someone to talk to because she was really distraught. And she asked if she could come over and talk. And her friend, sensing that Dorothea needed her, invited her over. Dorothy shows up with alcohol, and she makes Dorothy a drink.
Wonder what kind.
I know, right? Dorothy passes out. She wakes up. Dorothy is gone. And you know what else is gone? Her checks, credit cards, and money. Dorothy then did something that was actually really smart. And she went into the kitchen and scooped out the remaining liquid that was left in the bottom of the blender from the drinks that Dorothea had made her. And she put it in a pill bottle. So, I mean, like, who would think? I don't even know if I would think to do that.
You'd probably, I'm not you specifically, but in general, people would probably still be so groggy and like shocked.
Yeah, they would just like be like, fuck, now I have a mess in my kitchen. Like,
yeah.
But she also found some suspicious white powder that was on the counter. So she puts that in a pill bottle and she took that shit straight to the police.
Smart.
A couple of days later, Dorothea is found with her friend's credit card and money, and she's arrested on May 19th, 1982. This time, however, she was denied bail. Like, thank God. She actually had purchased a plane ticket to Mexico, so she was ready to flee. Yeah. So she was obviously a flight risk. No bail for you. Thank you and goodbye. But Dorothea was shisty as fuck. And what she did in jail was she would befriend these young women, and she acted like this grandmotherly, motherly figure to them. And they would tell her things about their cases. They would ask for advice. They would go to her. And what Dorothea did was she went to the state and she was like, hey, I have all of this information about all these crimes, and I'll gladly tell you if you cut me a deal. Dorothea is so fucking smart. Like,
she is, and I hate it.
She's criminally smart.
What a bitch.
The state ultimately offers her a plea deal, and Dorothea is sentenced to the maximum of 5 years in prison. Now, you would think that these 5 years in prison would maybe calm her ass down, but no, it did not. Dorothea, she's a hustler, and she wasn't going to let some bars and concrete squash her game. So while she's incarcerated, Dorothea caught the attention of 77-year-old widower Everson Gilmouth. And he was one of those guys that he was just looking for love anywhere he could.
Yeah.
And he would write to women in prison. Yeah, he was a really lonely man who was looking for love after the death of his wife. So he starts writing to women in prison. Dorothea, she happily latched on to him.
There you go.
And she really laid it on thick. She told him that she wanted to turn her life around. She wanted to settle down. She wanted to get married again. And this was everything that Everson wanted to hear. Like, she knew how to work men. She really did. And after serving just a little over half of her 5-year prison sentence, Dorothea is picked up by Everson Gilmouth in his red Ford pickup truck and his camper that he lived in. Because he was like somewhat of a drifter. Like, He didn't really have a house. He lived out of a camper for a little bit. He lived with on his sister's property. So Everson picks up Dorothea from jail and they head to the house on F Street. And Everson moves right in with her. They're a legit couple now. Not much is known about Dorothea's time with Everson, and that's mainly because Everson was kind of a loner. He did have contact with his sister, Reba, but she lived in another state and they weren't super close. He did tell Reba where he was, and he told her that he and Dorothea were planning to get married. And oddly enough, Reba would also receive letters from Dorothea in the mail. Like, even though she didn't know Dorothea, Dorothea started sending her letters. And these letters soon became updates about Everson. So, like, she had stopped hearing from Everson and was just hearing from Dorothea. So, kind of weird.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, things seemed to be going well, but Reba always had a weird feeling about Dorothea. And her fears were proved to be valid when she received a strange mailgram from her brother stating that the wedding was off. He was leaving Dorothea, and he basically just wanted to be left alone. Then, about 6 months after this strange letter from her brother, Reba receives another letter from a woman named Irene, who claimed to be Everson's new girlfriend. The letter was also very reminiscent of the letters that Dorothea would send to Reba. So they were kind of in the same style. Unfortunately, there was nothing that Reba could do because she didn't have any contact information for her brother. She didn't have a phone number for him or an address. So she just kind of had to like sit around and wait to hear from him. And again, this is the 80s. So it's not like people had cell phones attached to their hip and Facebook pages and email addresses. Like, it was a lot easier to go MIA back then than it is now.
Yeah.
Wanted to take a moment to point out that this new girlfriend's name was Irene. And funny enough, Irene was the name of one of Dorothea's prior victims, Irene Gregory. She's the lady that we talked about in the first episode, the one that Dorothea met at the hair salon.
I hate this lady.
Dorothea was actually using the name of one of her victims to write a letter to the sister of another one of her victims.
Wow.
By the end of 1985, no one had seen or heard from Everson. At one point, Dorothea's friend who owned the home noticed that Everson wasn't around anymore. And Dorothea explained it away by saying that Everson had gone back to Oregon, which was his home state. Interestingly, a month prior, Dorothea had asked the boyfriend of a woman whom she had met in prison to do her a little favor. So this man, Jesus Meza, shows up at Dorothea's house. He comes in and he is immediately hit in the face with a very pungent odor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gross.
And this is wild. Dorothea looks him dead in the face and tells him that a man died of a heart attack in her house. But she can't call the police about it because she's out on parole, right?
Oh, that, yeah.
Yeah. So to this guy, it's like kind of making sense. And she tells this man that she will give him money if he disposes of the body for her. And Jose is like, no,
Nah, bruh.
absolutely the fuck not. And he leaves, but not before promising Dorothea that he will not call the police on her. Like, Dorothea was like, basically, you call the police on me,
You're going to have a heart attack too, sir.
essentially. Yeah. Like, you can't make this shit up.
I'm going to
It's
call my
fucking
friend
crazy.
the Iceman.
Right? So it's very obvious that Everson Gilmouth's body was in that house for a considerable amount of time for it to be smelling and
Well, yeah.
decomposing. So Dorothea knew that she had a problem on her hands. She had to get rid of this body. You can't just be keeping bodies in your house, you know?
No.
Well, I mean, unless you're John Wayne Gacy, but he did bury them in the crawl space. But
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
they still stunk too. Didn't the floor
they
start
did.
to like? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So Dorothea ultimately met a random man at a bar, and this man did handyman work. And she told him that she needed help around her house and talked him into building her a large wooden storage box. So he builds her this box. He leaves for the day. She takes Everson's body from wherever she had hidden it. She wraps it up in garbage bags and plastic bags, and she places him in the box and then throws a stick of deodorant and mothballs on top of him into this makeshift casket.
Yeah, because one stick of deodorant is
That's
going to
gonna
cover
it up. Yeah.
She didn't have Carpe. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. And it's just, can you imagine? You have the smell of a decomposing body, you have the smell of deodorant, and you have the smell of mothballs.
No. That's like having really stinky shoes and spraying floral air freshener in them.
Yeah. Or like taking a dump in a restroom and then spraying fucking Lysol or Bath and Body Works spray. And then you basically smell like a turd with a fucking strawberry on top.
Right. Or a floral turd.
A floral turd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Gross.
The handyman comes back to her house and Dorothea's like, okay, I filled this box with all of my junk and now I just need to take it to my storage unit. So the man, with the help of a random construction worker that they found outside, lifts the box into Everson's Ford pickup truck, which, mind you, Dorothea sold to this man who made the box for her. So it's his truck now.
Yeah.
And then she tells him to drive to her storage unit. So they loaded Everson's body up into his own fucking truck.
I can't.
Yeah. Yep.
That poor construction worker.
It's crazy. Again, you can't make this shit up.
Listen, I want to say like I help people, but I used to all the time. I stop now.
It depends.
Not because of that reason, but because I'm going to digress for a minute if that's okay.
That's fine.
So I read this, I don't think it was true or not, but a woman gets on an airplane and there's an older woman who can't reach her bag.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, honey, can you just put this up there for me?
It was Dorothea Puente.
Probably. So the girl said, sure, no problem, puts it up there. And then the lady getting off the plane was like, oh, I can't reach it. Can you grab it again? So she grabs it and gives it to the lady. Well, as the lady's walking off, security stops her. And she's like, oh, this isn't my bag. She asked me to take it. And points to the girl that helped her because now her fingerprints are on the bag. So apparently there was it was a cartel bag or something. And she tried to point blame on this girl. That's why I'm like, I don't even help people lift stuff up, because if my fingerprints are on something that turns up to be not good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yikes.
Moral of the story, don't help anyone.
Especially little old ladies.
Tell them to fuck off.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I'm pretty sure that I told this story on the podcast before too, but I used to shop at Walmart late at night, before COVID, and Walmart used to be open 24 hours. It was the most relaxing time to shop. I loved it. I would just go there and shop. And there was this guy and he approached my car and was like, hey, I need a jump. Can you help me? And I was like, no, I can't. And he was like, oh, come on, I'm a nice guy. And I was like, Ted Bundy was also a nice guy.
Good for you.
Listen, this was in the time of cell phones, okay? Mm-hmm. And he could have easily called AAA or a friend. I'm sorry.
No, you're right.
I'm in a Walmart parking lot at 2 a.m. I'm not helping you with your car. Thank you and goodbye.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So yeah, Dorothea tells this guy she needs him to take this big ass box full of her shit to the storage unit. But as they're approaching a rural area,
you
aren't
said
you proud
it.
of me? I practiced.
I'm proud of you.
Along the Sacramento River, Dorothea's like, hey, you know what? Never mind. This stuff is junk and I don't need it. So let's just dump it.
Stop.
This is a good spot. So she has him pull over and she has him dump the box by the river's edge. And weirdly, this man never once questioned her about this.
Yeah, let's just throw shit in the river.
Yeah. So now Dorothea has murdered 2 people that we know of, at least.
Mm-hmm.
On January 1st, 1986, the box containing Everson's remains was found, but sadly, the body was so decomposed by this point that it was unidentifiable. Meanwhile, Everson's monthly pension checks were still being delivered to him at 1426 F Street and were being cashed. And I'll give you one guess as to who was cashing them.
The ghost that lived in the attic.
Yeah. Bingo. So that brings us up to the fall of 1986. Dorothea is now officially running 1426 F Street as a boarding house. She's the landlady, and she's taking in boarders and providing them rooms and food in exchange for their social security checks.
All of the monies.
All of them. Yeah. Yep. 78-year-old Betty Mae Palmer moves into the boarding house and immediately becomes sick. Other tenants of the home, whom Dorothea did not kill for whatever reason, later stated that they felt that Dorothea had been mistreating Betty by giving her pills continuously and also leaving her in her room constantly groaning. They said she was just groaning all the time, which is disturbing.
Yes.
I don't know if she was groaning in pain or what, but...
Well, that... even to the people that lived there, that had to be...
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Like, not only annoying, but also, like, you had to feel bad. Like, that sucks.
Yeah. So you're probably wondering why Dorothea left some tenants alone and didn't murder them. And it's theorized that Dorothea only got rid of the ones who were quote unquote problems. So tenants who were extra sick and needed a lot of care, or tenants who would give her pushback about Dorothea taking all of the money from their Social Security checks, those were the ones that she targeted.
Because they were complaining.
They were problems, yep. Nevertheless, Betty Mae Palmer was, for whatever reason, considered a problem, and she ended up being the very first victim to be buried in the yard of 1426 F Street. When the other tenants asked what happened to her, Dorothea told them that her daughter had come to pick her up and took her away. Betty Mae was ultimately found buried in a nightgown, her body severely mutilated and in the fetal position.
Aww.
There were cuts up and down her spine, and also her head, hands, and both legs were removed. They were never found.
What?
Yep. Authorities later theorized that Dorothea had done this to avoid identification of the corpse. After she buried Betty Mae's body, Dorothea took her driver's license and superimposed her own picture onto it in order to cash her checks. All of this totaled about $7,000, which would be a little over $20,000 in today's money. So that's a lot of money.
Yeah, not worth killing somebody.
If you're not doing shit else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Dorothea had a fucking job. She was running a boarding house, ripping people off.
Yeah, that was her job.
Yeah. In October of 1986, Dorothea took in another boarder, 80-year-old Leona Carpenter, who was in very ill health. And on October 21st, 1986, Leona was hospitalized for a flurazepam overdose. And I'm sure you can imagine exactly who was responsible for that overdose. And while in the hospital, Dorothea actually called in a notary to Leona's bedside and was able to obtain power of attorney over her in order to, you guessed it, cash her Social Security checks.
Stop.
Yep. Leona was in and out of the hospital from October of 1986 through February of 1987 until she was discharged and never seen again. After burying Leona's body in her yard, Dorothea used the money to buy herself shoes in Leona's name, and she also used Leona's money, as well as the money of some of her other victims, to buy herself luxury perfume, clothing, dental implants, and a facelift.
And those tanned leather shoes.
Yeah.
Don't forget them.
Now, you would think that Dorothea would need a little time off to heal from her facelift.
Nah.
And I don't know, maybe she did, but you know what else she didn't take time off from doing?
Murder.
Killing. Shortly after she murdered Leona Carpenter, Dorothea took in another boarder, 62-year-old James Gallup, who had undergone a previous brain surgery and mostly spent his time drinking alcohol and sleeping. James Gallup was absolutely one of Dorothea's problem tenants because he was a severe alcoholic, but even worse, he straight up refused to sign over his Social Security checks to Dorothea, which is smart, but that also put a target on his back.
He's a problem now.
Yeah. By the summer of 1987, James was gone and never seen again. But even though James hadn't been seen in months, his prescriptions for flurazepam and a couple other medications, and flurazepam is a medication used for insomnia, continued to be filled and was picked up at the pharmacy by Dorothea. So she killed him and then continued to pick up his prescriptions.
Stocking up on those drugs.
Yep. The next casualty at Dorothea's boarding house on F Street happened in July of 1987. And we aren't really sure if this death can be attributed to Dorothea directly, but it has been speculated, so I wanted to add this in just in case, because if this person was a victim of Dorothea's, it should be included in the story. 58-year-old Eugene Gamble was one of the boarders at Dorothea's, and he was found dead in front of the home. An autopsy later confirmed that he had overdosed on amitriptyline and ethanol, but Dorothea was insistent that he had tried to commit suicide in the past, and his death was thus ruled a suicide. But as suspicious as this looked, especially in retrospect after Dorothy was arrested, she was never charged with this murder. Did she murder him?
Yes.
We'll never know, but to be honest, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she did.
The next victim...
There's more?
Yeah, there's more.
Great.
This next victim just breaks my heart. And to be honest, I couldn't find that much information about her, but just looking at her picture made me want to cry. Like, she just looks like the sweetest lady. And I don't know, you know how they say a picture says 1,000 words?
Yeah.
Like, when I look at her picture, I just feel some type of way. I'm going to show you her picture now, because tell me if this picture just doesn't make you want to cry.
Oh my God, she's adorable.
I know.
She kind of looks like that Rhea, the woman that married Danny DeVito.
Oh. Maybe.
No, let me see her again. She looks freaking adorable.
I know. That picture makes me so
I
sad.
love her. She just looks like a happy-go-lucky, goes to church.
I know.
Makes a mean beef stew, you know?
So yeah, this was 64-year-old Vera Faye Martin. I did as much digging as I could because, again, this victim stood out to me for whatever reason, but I just couldn't come up with a lot of information other than she was born in Wynwood, Oklahoma.
Her name was Vera
Her name was Vera Faye, and she had a daughter and a son. Vera Faye was known to have some health issues and was ultimately sent to live with Dorothea sometime in October of 1987. And then she was never heard from after that. Dorothea, of course, kept collecting, forging, and cashing Vera's Social Security checks, totaling around $20,000 in today's money. And in the third episode, when they uncover the bodies in the yard, I'll get into like more details as to what exactly happened to these people, because it's pretty fucking gnarly. Also, in October of 1987, 65-year-old Dorothy Miller moved into Dorothea's boarding house. So this is a completely different person.
Got it.
And within weeks, no one had heard from her or seen her. After murdering Dorothy Miller, Dorothea dressed up and impersonated her at the VA clinic in order to obtain her prescriptions, and she also continued to cash her Social Security checks. Dorothea also involved her friend, Richard Odorica. He's the one whose family lived on the bottom floor of the F Street house, and actually had him designated as the payee for Dorothy Miller's Social Security checks. Not really sure why Dorothea had him do this time and not her. And I'm not really sure what his involvement really was in all of this. Like, did he know what was going on, or did he just do it because Dorothea told him to? Because that's what he claimed. He was like, Dorothea told me to be the payee, I did it. But
I think he probably knew what was going on.
He had to have known that something sketchy was going on, because this little fact kind of like, it made me wonder, because like you have to know what's going on in your house to a certain extent. And Dorothea had a carpet cleaning service come out to the home in November of 1987 to clean up a foul-smelling slime on the carpet.
Ew.
So like this is technically his house. So, like, why are you not asking questions, and how do you not know what the fuck's going on in your house? Like, I don't know. Maybe he didn't know. But if somebody comes to me and is like, hey, I need you to be the payee for this person's Social Security checks, is that not going to, like, sound off alarm bells to you?
Yes. However, you got to remember, too, Dorothea was very persuasive with the men.
Yeah.
Like, she would make up stories as to why, and they would believe her. So who knows?
Yeah, fair enough. 55-year-old Benjamin Fink came to the boarding house in the spring of 1988, and he was known to have a problem with alcohol. One night, after an angry drunken outburst from Ben, Dorothea told the other tenants that she was going to take him upstairs to, quote, make him better, and he was never seen again. When asked what happened to Ben by both the tenants and Ben's brother, who would have weekly visits with him, Dorothea told them that he had just up and left during the night. No one really asked any questions because, again, these people were known to be like transients, drifters, alcoholics. Like, so they would drift in and out of communication with their family and friends.
Damn it.
Yeah. But tenants did notice a foul odor coming from his room. But Dorothea explained this away by saying that it was simply a sewer backup.
Yeah, in his room.
Mm-hmm. What they were actually smelling was probably his decomposing body.
Oh, what?
Mm-hmm. So now we're going to get into the story of the victim who basically blew this whole investigation wide open. Dorothea allowed tenants into her home that didn't really have friends or family members who were like super present and super involved. I mean, these people, again, had issues with addiction. They were drifters. They were transients. They were people who were down on their luck. And Dorothea saw this as a great opportunity because if no one cared, no one would ask many questions, right?
And they weren't going to be missed by
Exactly.
anybody.
Yep. With Bert Montoya, this was not the case. 51-year-old Alvaro Gonzalez Montoya, aka Bert, was born in Costa Rica. Not much is known about his background, but he did somehow make it to Sacramento, California by himself with no family. Bert struggled with severe mental health issues, including schizophrenia, and he was also a transient in the downtown Sacramento scene. For whatever reason, he ended up at a detox center, just dumped off. And he would just hang out there. Staff didn't really mind it because Bert didn't cause any trouble. And although he was like a massive man, he was extremely gentle and fearful of the world. And that's probably because of his schizophrenia and his history of hearing voices and having hallucinations. A social worker by the name of Judy Moyes, who worked for the Volunteers of America, which was a task force that focused on helping people who had mental health issues find care and housing. And Judy took a liking to Bert immediately, and she like kind of took him under her wing. She went out of her way contacting agencies to try to find adequate housing for him because as much as they liked Bert, he couldn't just permanently live at a detox center. Especially considering the fact that he wasn't an addict. So the social workers were told about Dorothea's boarding house on F Street, and they take Bert there to see if he would be a good fit. Dorothea explains to them that payment for the room and meals would come out of his Social Security checks. She would care for him, administer his medications, and Dorothea made him just feel really comfortable. Like, she spoke to him in Spanish. She told him that she would cook him his favorite Spanish meals. And the social workers were really impressed with Dorothea. Like, they saw this kind elderly lady who was connecting really well with Bert. They said that when they came in, she had like a box of kittens and she was like bottle feeding them. Like, these are my kittens. So she just seemed like this really like gentle, sweet lady.
Where did she get kittens
I
from?
don't know. This is what, according to the social worker, Judy Moyes, she said when they got there was a box of kittens and she was bottle feeding them and caring for them.
I want a box of kittens.
I know, right? She probably took them in from the street, I would assume. I mean, because
they don't have Social Security checks. Why is she taking in kittens?
But it made her look caring.
What a bitch.
Yeah. I mean, you have to remember, these people are all about their image, too.
That was free meat, too, that she didn't have to buy.
Ew. So, I mean, the social workers did have some questions about this boarding house, but Dorothea, again, she's very convincing. She told them that she is independently wealthy and she just likes helping people. The social workers, again, they thought it was a really good fit. And on top of that, Judy Moyes, the social worker, saw someone there that she recognized from before because she does work for the Volunteers of America. So she works with these people that are down on their luck. And she sees this man by the name of John Sharp, who's also living at Dorothea's boarding house. And she spoke with him and like asked how things were there. And he was like, we get a room. She cooks great food. It's pretty decent.
Yeah.
I don't think he had been there for that long though. But the social workers, like, they felt confident enough to leave Bert in Dorothea's care. So that's what they did. For a while, things were going really well for Bert at the boarding house. He was happy. He was looking healthier. He was being given his medications. He was like more like he had a haircut. So he was like looking better. Wasn't looking disheveled anymore. Like he was really thriving. But just months after moving in, Bert shows up at the detox center and he is visibly distraught, telling them that Dorothea has been very mean to him and he no longer wants to live there. Now, the social workers, knowing that Bert suffers from schizophrenia and also visual and auditory hallucinations, they don't really know what to make of this. Like,
is it true or is it not?
Right. Yeah, they thought maybe he was just like having an episode. They recognize that they don't have any room for him at the detox center. Like there's no space for him anywhere. There's nowhere for him to go at any other shelter. There's no other place that can take him in at that moment. So they drive him back to the boarding house and they're like, listen, like you got to make this work.
Do your best.
Right. A couple of weeks later, Judy Moyes stops by the boarding house to check on Bert, and she's told by Dorothea that Bert was not there. Dorothea tells her that he had gone to Mexico. There was like some kind of party at her family's house, and he would be back in a couple days. Judy waits a little bit, and then she goes back to the boarding house, and Dorothea's like, you know what? My family just, they love Bert, and he loves it there, so he just decided to stay longer.
Oh.
Yeah. So Judy kind of does this back and forth with Dorothea where she's checking in on Bert and Dorothea is like making excuses as to why he's not there. So finally Judy gets fed up and she's like, listen, you need to figure out how to get in contact with Bert and have Bert call me. Dorothea assures her that will happen, but that call never comes. Judy becomes increasingly frustrated, so she ultimately tells Dorothea that if she doesn't hear from Bert by that Monday, she's going to call the police and report him missing. Monday morning comes, and as soon as Judy walks into her office, her phone starts ringing. She picks up the phone, and it's a man claiming that Bert returned from Mexico, but that his family came to the boarding house and picked him up, so he was gone. And Judy immediately suspects that something is off. Like, Bert's family, I'm pretty sure they all still lived in Costa Rica. They're not just going to show up to Sacramento and pick him up and leave. No. Like, he didn't have any communication with his family.
Right.
So she knew something wasn't right. So Judy does something really smart. She gets in touch with John Sharp. That's the man who she knows at the boarding house, who's also living there. And she asks John if Bert went to Mexico. And he's like, no, Bert never went to Mexico. Like, what are you talking about? Judy then asks him if something is going on in the house or if something is wrong there. And John Sharp tells her, quote, yes, something is wrong here. She's been digging a lot of holes. And that's where we're going to leave off for this week. We'll pick back up next week for the third and final episode in the Dorothea Puente series. And we'll discuss the investigation, the discovery of the makeshift graveyard in the backyard, the trial, the aftermath, Dorothea's motherfucking cookbook. Because yes, a cookbook featuring her recipes was released while she was in prison.
Stop it.
All the fun stuff, yeah. And also going to be talking about the to-be movie of Dorothea Puente.
Okay.
Because I have some thoughts is all I'm saying.
Well, can we just give a shout out to a great movie instead of the to-be movie? Because Bert's last name was Montoya, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. You know what movie that is?
No.
The Princess Bride.
Oh, I've never seen The Princess Bride.
Stop.
I feel like you either grow up with being a Princess Bride kid or you don't.
Listen.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
I hadn't seen it until I met Jack. And then I was forced to watch it because it's one of his favorite movies. But like, you need to watch it. It's a good movie. It's a good 80s movie.
All right, I'll watch it. It's kind of like Labyrinth, right? Like a fairy, or not a fairy, but like a...
Yes, but it's funny.
Okay.
Like, smoke a little doobie and then watch it. You're going to love it.
All right.
You're going to love it.
I will. Oh, also wanted to give a shout out because from time to time I do check to see if we've gotten new reviews and whatnot. And we got a review on Apple Podcasts from someone named Halbug. And they said, I found this podcast by accident, but let me tell you, I love spending time with my besties on Tuesdays.
Aw, Halbug, we love you, bestie.
That made me so happy.
No.
That made me so happy. So, Halbug, I don't know who you are, but if you reach out to us on Facebook or TikTok, like just shoot us a message, or you can email us at theghostygirls theghostygirlspodcast at Gmail. We'll send you some stickers.
Yeah.
Because that was really sweet. And if you guys feel so inclined, head over to, Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave us a 5-star review.
Please, it really helps.
Well, yeah. And we, like, when we see things like that, it keeps us going. Because I'm not going to lie, sometimes I'm just like, I love doing this, but also, like, I see, like, all the other big podcasters, and I'm like, I want to travel. Like, I want to do fun things. I want to be on Netflix because they have Netflix podcasts now.
You get to hang out with me once a week. That is
It's not
fun.
enough.
It's enough. I am enough. I am enough.
I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I know.
But I've said this before. I don't want to become like rich and famous from this. That's not the point. But I would love to make this my job.
Right.
Like, I would love to make enough money so that I could actually not have an office job. Because if I could do this full time,
that'd be awesome.
It'd be so much better. Mm-hmm. It'd be so much better. I would have so much time to research and watch documentaries and just like, I would love to commit all of my time.
I would actually have episodes done and on my computer, not handwritten.
Yeah, I mean, it's a struggle because, like, I mean, again, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, like, we both have jobs. Alicia has several jobs.
Yeah.
We're both mothers. Like, we're constantly busy, and we're still trying to watch documentaries and research and get these episodes out, and then we have to edit them, so it does take time. We love doing this, but if we could get to the next level, man, that would be awesome.
And reviews help.
They do.
So much. Like, we're not asking you guys to send us money. We don't need that. We just need you to take...
I'm asking.
Get the fuck out of here. We're asking you to take 5 seconds of your time and just say, love you girls, 5 stars, the end, period. Mwah.
No, but we do need to do a Patreon.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I think
we could dive into
cool.
some stuff.
Yeah, we could.
Deeper.
Yeah, we could do some like extra bonus episodes and stuff. Like, I don't know. Let us know if you guys would pay like $5 a month for some exclusive.
I wouldn't.
Exclusive shit.
I've
paid for people's Patreons before.
I'd pay $3.50. I'm just kidding.
You're a cheap bastard.
It's true. What, $350 a month isn't enough?
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Jesus.
Let us know. Would you pay $350? Just kidding. We are not worth that.
Yeah, we are.
We are.
In feet pictures, sure.
Ew.
We'll send some feet pictures. Why not?
Does anyone want to see our feet?
Yeah.
Well, this potty went off the rails. Oh,
no, just
we're
kidding.
going to Monster Mania Con this weekend. By the time this airs, we will have already been, so I'm hoping it's a good time. I have tickets to meet Skeet Ulrich. Not really even meet him, just for the photo op thing. I'm hoping that he'll be doing a table as well. Like, they do autographs and stuff, because I would love to have him sign my Scream VHS tape.
That would be so cool.
Yeah. I'm collecting VHS tapes, old horror VHS tapes. So if anyone knows like where I can build my collection, like any websites and stuff, please let me know. I've gotten some off of eBay. We just went thrifting last weekend in Lancaster, and I got a couple of VHS tapes there.
Excellent.
But yeah, my goal is like when I have my forever home, because I want to have a nice house. And not saying that I live in a piece of shit now, but a bigger house. I would like to have a bigger house because I want a podcast room. And I also want to have a room that's like a retro room. And I want to have like Daddy T has an old TV and a VCR. And I want to set that up. And I want to have like some like wall shelves like Blockbuster and like showcase all of the horror VHSs.
That would be
and,
awesome.
Yeah, and I want to have like old school horror movie posters.
I wonder if you could get like an old Blockbuster sign.
Oh,
That'd be cool. Not like the
I
big
would
giant
love
one,
that.
but you know,
Yeah.
and somebody could make one even as a fathead.
Yes, I did see someone had like a retro room. I believe it was on TikTok, and they had like one of those neon signs, and it was like VHS rental or something.
Yeah.
Even something like that would be super cool.
And those are pretty cheap to have made.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But yeah, I want to make that room happen. So I'm sure people who are into like old school horror retro stuff like listen to this. So let me know if
let's
there's any
start
cool
light.
websites.
Send her websites, but first give us a 5-star review, please. We love you.
We love you.
Yes, we love you. Especially you, Hellbug. Bestie, our new bestie.
Yeah. Next week we'll let you know how Monster Mania Con went.
Yeah. It's gonna be great.
Hopefully we have some good stories. I don't know.
Yeah. And if not, it's still gonna be fun because we're handing out goodie bags with our brand new business cards in them.
This is true. We have a QR code and everything.
Yeah. Well, I will see you next Tuesday because I am tired of listening to your bullshit. I'm just kidding. I'm
oh
kidding.
my God.
know,
You
I'm
know
such
what,
a
bitch? You can edit this fucking episode.
I'm just
then.
kidding.
Here you go. All right. We'll see you next Tuesday.
No, I wasn't ready to end it.
You were basically cutting me off saying that I was annoying you. So
I was
feel
just
like
kidding.
I know. No one could ever be annoyed from listening to me.
Never.
Just kidding. I annoy myself.
Same. Why do people listen again? Yeah, I know.
Even my dog's like,
Yeah, I know. You live with
Khaleesi.
them. I'm sorry.
Khaleesi, can you give them a... All right, we'll see you next Tuesday. Don't be one.
Bye.
We'll see you next Tuesday.
Don't be one.
Bye.
Bye?
Was that good enough for you?
No, fuck you. I'm done. I'm done with it.
Fuck you and goodbye.